Linguistics and Sanskrit. Professor Kapoor has the distinction of having delivered a lecture in the House of Lords in UK on an invite from there. He has been the Dean of the School of Language, Literature and Cultural Studies, JNU, Rector Pro Vice Chancellor of JNU, Editor-in-Chief of the 11-volume Encyclopedia of Hinduism, Chief Editor of the Sahitya Academy sponsored Encyclopedia of Indian Poetics, a UNESCO project under publication. Visiting Professor at the Irish Academy of Cultural Heritages, University of Ulster, UK, nominated Birla Foundation in 2007, nominated Member Advisory Board for Indian Studies, Trinity College, University of Dublin, Member Indian Council of Philosophical Research, ICPR, nominated Satendra Singh Noor Fellow, Punjabi University, Patiala, Member of the Monitoring and Planning Committee of Central University of Higher Tibetan Studies, Sarnath. Sir, we welcome you. Due to the paucity of time, we cannot cover the achievements of our sir. But, extremely sorry, sir, for that.
Thank you, Ayush.
Sir.
जी, ये अब क्या होगा? सॉरी, हेलो।
यस सर।
क्या हो गया जी? अब क्या होगा? इतनी भयानक कथा सुना दी हमारे बारे में। और ज्यादातर सारा पास्ट टेंस ही था, है ना
जी?
ऐसे थे और भी बहुत थे। तो ऐसे लगता है ना, हम कई बार कहते हैं कि जैसे कोई ओबिचुअरी पढ़ रहा है। और ज्यादा दूर नहीं है वो भी, क्योंकि अब 81 साल का हूं मैं। आई एम 81 year old and I have been into this profession of talking, which is called teaching, for the last 60 years, more than 60 years, 62 years. तो टीचर का काम तो ज्यादा बोलना ही है ना। मिरासी, कुत्ता और टीचर तीनों गले पे निर्भर होते हैं ना, अपने थ्रोट पे। ठीक है, तीनों का धंधा गले से चलता है। इसलिए हमको जब हमारे घर में या बेटी या कोई कहते हैं अरे पापा कम बोला करो, हमने कहा अरे हमारा तो काम ही बोलना है, हम कम कैसे बोलेंगे। मैं अभी भी जानना चाहता हूं कि सैमी जी तो नहीं, आसिम सिद्दीकी जी कहाँ हैं?
जी सर, ही इज हियर।
कहाँ पे हैं? आई कांट सी हिम।
सर मैं सुन रहा हूँ सर, मैं हूँ यहाँ पर।
जनाब कैसे हैं?
अच्छे सर, आप अच्छे।
देखिए, आपके कारण ही हम हैं। आप हैं तो हम हैं, है ना?
ये पार्टिसिपेंट से आई शुड ऐड के सर का जो है संबंध जो हम लोगों से जो है इतना अफेक्शनेट है, और उनका अफेक्शन, उनकी ब्लेसिंग्स, उनकी एडवाइस हमेशा साथ रही है। एंड इट इज सच अ प्लेजर and it's a matter of pride for all of us that sir never says no to us, and actually his blessing is there on different generations of his students at Aligarh Muslim University. Sometimes there are not only students but their supervisors who also have benefited from sir's blessings. So sir, we welcome you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. You are keeping good health?
Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir.
Good. बहुत अच्छी बात है। अच्छा, ये आज हमने सब्जेक्ट खुद ही बताया था।
जी सर।
बताया था कि एप्रोप्रिएट थियरी, है ना? अब ऐसा है कि आजकल अब मुझे अंग्रेजी बोलने की रियाज थोड़ा कम हो गया है। रिटायर हो गए ना 16 साल पहले, पर ऐसा नहीं है, अंग्रेजी बोल सकता हूँ शुद्ध अगर आप चाहें तो, पर उसमें मजा नहीं आता, आनंद नहीं आता। तो हमने कहा कि जो एक सही तंत्र, सही थियरी, हम लिटरेचर पढ़ते हैं या लिटरेचर सुनते हैं। हमारी संस्कृति में, कल्चर में लिटरेचर इतनी पढ़ने की वस्तु नहीं है जितनी सुनने की वस्तु। आप तो गजलें सुनते हो ना, मुनीर नियाजी साहब का आपने सुना होगा, लाहौर वालों का, हमेशा देर कर देता हूं मैं। सुना कि नहीं?
जी
नहीं सुना तो फिर सुनिएगा। भारत में जो साहित्य है, लिटरेचर है, वो पहले तो दो प्रकार का है, टू टाइप्स, ओरल एंड रिटन। हमारी कई बताते हैं 1475 लैंग्वेजेस हैं, कोई सेंसस कहता है 1526 लैंग्वेजेस हैं, जिनमें से केवल 28 भाषाएं हैं जिनकी लिपि है, स्क्रिप्ट है। ओनली 28 लैंग्वेजेस है स्क्रिप्ट, बट ऑल द लैंग्वेजेस हैव लिटरेचर। आप नॉर्थ ईस्ट में चले जाइए, आप आंध्रा के नोमैड्स में चले जाइए, आप गुजरात के नोमैड्स में, साहित्य सबके यहाँ है। साहित्य के हमारे यहाँ 3 प्रकार की, भारत में 3 टाइप्स ऑफ फॉर्म्स आर पैन इंडियन। गीत, जिसे हम पोएम कहते हैं, चाहे वो गजल के रूप में हो, चाहे वो कविता के रूप में हो, ये दूसरी कथा, कहानी, और तीसरा नाटक। ये 3 विधाएं पैन इंडियन है, सब जगह मिलेंगी। और मेरे ख्याल में हिंदुस्तान के हर गांव में आपको कोई ना कोई शायर या कवि मिलेगा, हर गांव में। ये साहब ये 2 लाइनें सुनिए, है ना। हम अभी एक मिनिस्ट्री की बहुत बड़ी मीटिंग में थे। बहुत बड़ी से मैं इंप्रेस नहीं होता ना, आपको इंप्रेस कर रहा हूं, क्योंकि आजकल के परिप्रेक्ष्य में, कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, जो बहुत बड़े होते हैं वो बहुत छोटे भी होते हैं। पर चलिए, वो जो बहुत बड़ी मीटिंग थी, ऊंची मीटिंग थी, तो उसमें जब किसी एक बड़े व्यक्ति को कहा गया कि अब आप बोलिए, तो जिन्होंने उनको कहा, उनको वो कहते हैं, इतना बढ़िया प्रोनाउंस का यूज है ना, जिन्होंने उनको कहा उनको वो कहते हैं कि साहब आपके लिए 2 लाइनें लिखी हैं, पहले वो सुन लीजिए।
Excuse me, sir.
जी
Sir, sorry for the interference, sir. Will you please speak in English? I can't
अच्छा।
understand Hindi properly.
कौन बोल रही है?
I am Drishya, sir, from Kerala.
Oh, Drisha. Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. I know
Sorry, sir,
English.
sorry.
I tell you, I honestly tell you, I know English.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Now, I was saying that in
Hello, sir.
Okay.
उनको बता देना।
Yeah.
Can't hear you, sir.
सर आवाज नहीं आ रहा।
Not audible, sir.
You tell.
There is a slight problem. We just wait for a few seconds.
Okay, ma'am.
ओके मैम।
सर आपका, जी सर, ठीक है सर, ठीक है।
No, he is just joining.
ठीक है सर।
There is some problem. He'll just be with you.
ज्वाइनिंग फ्रॉम मोबाइल बता दीजिए।
He's joining from mobile. There's a problem.
मम्मी मत डालना।
उनको तो उनका नंबर भी नहीं है मेरे पास।
Excuse me. I think sir's lecture is not audible.
ठीक है मैडम, ठीक है जी।
There's a trouble. He's joining right now, as they have the organizers have said. They're joining.
Okay.
मैं उधर जा रहा हूँ। देख लेंगे। दे दो।
Yeah, he will be joining. He's joining through the mobile. So please.
Am I
wait.
joining? Am I
Yes.
audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I audible now? I'm sorry. I think the electricity went off and it got disconnected.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm not very happy about it, but I think it has come back. My network has come back, and I'm again joining from the laptop. Huh? Hold on for a minute, sir. Look at the consequence of speaking in English. The moment I'll just join. अभी join करते हैं.
Okay, sir.
Save changes, yes, of course. Come on, finish.
We are waiting, sir.
Please, I know you are waiting, but I can't help it. This is a technology, We are in a technological world. Huh?
Actually, sir,
Just
we are
a
very
minute.
excited to listen you.
I'm going to talk. Just hold on. Keep smiling in the meantime. Huh? Don't give up. I will have to rejoin now because you see everything went. The Google connection went, and so I have to got reconnect again. I am going to. I think it is just 1 minute now.
Okay, sir.
Sami ji, I shall be back in half a second now, I think. अरे यार, कहाँ चला गया? Inbox. Sami ji, fine. Connection is weak. Aha. Join now. Can you see me, hear me? Am I
Yes.
back?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right, all right. Can you see me, hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes, sir.
remember. All right.
Please continue.
Just a minute. I have to shut off my mobile. I have to shut off my mobile also, because the mobile is also speaking. Still on. Still on. Mobile is still on. Yes. Yes. What this nonsense? I don't want this nonsense. हाँ सिद्दीकी जी, सिद्दीकी साहब, मुझे शाह हुसैन याद आ गया।
जी
कैसे है कि अब तो देखिए इस उम्र में दिखता भी कम है, सुनता भी कम है। तो मुझे अभी मैं ऐसे नजदीक जाके वो आप जो समी जी ने भेजा था कनेक्ट वाला, उसको बड़े नजदीक से देखना पड़ा, तो शाह हुसैन याद आ गया
जी।
बुढ़ा हुए हो शाह हुसैना, दंदी थीरा पईया, उठ सवेरे ढूंढन लगे हो सांझ दियां जो गईयां। बूढ़े हो गए, दांतों में गैप आ गए, और सुबह उठ के उनको ढूंढ रहे हो जो कल चले गए। यू नो, सो दैट इज व्हाई इट हैज टेकन टाइम।
जी सर, एक चीज ही कही जाती है कि सब वो विजडम भी देर से आती है और इकबाल भी देर से आता है।
yes. Okay, let's get back to the question that I was saying that I had suggested this topic, and कौन दृश्या थी जिसने मुझे कहा इंग्लिश में बोलो दृश्या? Was it Drishya? Who was it? Who was the girl?
Yes, it was Drishya. Yes.
Drishya.
Yes, sir,
You know,
Drishya.
Drishya, by asking that question, it was like, you know, जो centipede होता है ना, centipede. The centipede walks with his 100 legs. And then somebody just raised the hand and asked the centipede, which leg do you put forward first? And the centipede got confused. Everything got involved and he could not walk. Same happened to me. I was speaking very slowly, easily, and then Drishya says, Angrezi mein boliye. And you know, like a centipede, I halted. And I had to put my thoughts back together again. Back together again. Literature in India, because I said there are binary types. There is, for example, oral literature and written literature. We have, census tells us 1500 languages, 1475, 1526, different numbers, with all their problem of defining a language as distinct from a dialect, which is another question which I think Imtiaz Hasnan, if he's here, he can answer. I don't think Imtiaz is here. The 1475 languages, only 28 have script. Only 28. Only 28 languages have script. But all the languages have literature, because literature in India is essentially oral and oral visual. जैसे गजल है, अभी मैंने जो शाह हुसैन का सुनाया, या अभी आप कभी I had mentioned मुनीर नियाजी in the beginning, कभी आपने सुना हो, लाहौर के हैं, क्या बढ़िया लिखते हैं और बोलते हैं, हमेशा देर कर देता हूं मैं. There is deep philosophy, there is great rhythm and resonance in words, in the articulation, and the emotions get foregrounded so strongly that in the audience you will find, people having tears. So our literature is essentially oral and oral visual. So that is one kind of literature. The other is written. The written literature became a norm after the British, the Western influence, and I call written literature the metropolitan literature. शहरों का metropolitan literature, you see, and that literature, metropolitan literature, it is inspired by the West, both in its form and in its themes. And of course, novel as a form has been a great gift. It's a great gift, because we had, not that we didn't have long narratives, we had long narratives, but the theory of novel, which the way they talk about it as a distinct form, is something which has boundaries. You see, our concept of a narrative is that a story has no beginning and a story has no end. कोई भी कहानी पता नहीं कहाँ शुरू होती है और कोई भी कहानी पता नहीं कहाँ खत्म होगी. So this is our Indian poetics, Indian theory. But then the novel has boundaries like the two break pillars of the Howrah Bridge on both sides. So there is a beginning, there is a middle and an end. But it has been a very widely used form in India, in Indian languages also. So this is metropolitan literature. And this is one binary, oral literature and written literature. The written literature is mostly, now don't get mistaken by the fact that you can have a Valmiki Ramayana in printed form, you can have Mahabharata in printed form, you can have Ghalib in printed form, you can have Shah Hussain in printed form, but that doesn't mean that this is a written literature. It's not. It's not meant to be read. It's meant to be heard. You see, meant to be heard. Very many people who complain कि हमको वेद पढ़ने नहीं देते forget that Vedas are not for reading. They are for grasping by hearing. Shruti literature है, श्रुत है. It's meant to be heard. Meant to be heard and meditated upon. Meditated upon. So, from the Vedic hymns to the ghazal or to the poem today, it's a continuity of oral literature. Then the other binary is, you see, the literature in Indian languages and literature in English. ठीक है ना? हमारा जो literature है, उसको again हम दो में बांट लेंगे. There is literature in Indian languages, literature in English. Now, literature in English, you can define its scope, its domain. Its domain. It concerns itself with mostly the social issues of the Indian society, and the society of the cities, mostly. शहरों का. But India does not live in the cities. In fact, India does not live in the cities. The kind of India that lives in the city is not the kind of India that India is. You see, India lives in villages. It is another matter that now Indian villages do not always live. The changes that have been taking place so rapidly. So that's another matter. But then India is not really. Drishya, you can understand me now? She left after telling me to speak in English. I hope she's still hearing. So she's convinced.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I can understand.
We are all listening. I'm from Tamil Nadu. We're all listening to you.
I know. By the way, my wife is from Tamil Nadu, so I understand the Tamil people. Don't worry. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. No,
Thank you, sir.
sir.
Sir, I have one question. Tamil people are Tamil language, sir.
I don't know. I don't speak Tamil very much. You see, but my wife speaks Punjabi very well. That is the patriarchy or man-centered society, whatever you like to call it. Okay, let's get back to this. So, there is this Indian languages literatures. Now, literatures in so many Indian languages. And at some time or the other, people ask the question whether all the language literatures of India can be called Indian literature. And if you look at the Sahitya Academy Encyclopedia of Indian Literature 5 volume, there is a tremendous, beautiful introduction there. I will not address myself to that question here, but I tell you that if you are interested in this question, how literatures in all so many languages of India can be called Indian literature, then kindly read the introduction to the Sahitya Academy Encyclopedia of Indian Literature, 5 volumes. It's the introduction started with by Gokak, and coming down to a Bengali professor who did a yeoman's job in completing that introduction. So, but then there is a difference. Indian English literature has a very limited domain. But Indian languages literatures, they have a kind of a duality. The Indian languages literatures composed in the cities are influenced by the same Western forms and Western themes. But the Indian language literatures which are oral, for example, in the Northeast or in the nomadic people, even in cities, even in, for example, state of Kerala, you have boatmen's songs, you have seamen, you have the seamen's songs, and you have marriage songs, and you have mourning songs, and you have hunting songs all over India, and this is all oral literature. So when we are looking for a theory, the problem with the metropolitan literature is that the metropolitan literature has a very limited audience. You see, people who can read and write, and people who can read and write. But our great literature, oral literature, let's say whether you mention Tagore, you mention Ghalib, you mention Tulsidas, the Panwadis also, those who sell pan and those who are selling mungfali peanuts, they also sing their poems. The boatmen sing their poems. So the audience of our essentially Indian literature, intrinsic oral literature, the audience is very large. But the audience of metropolitan written literature is very small. Of course, that small audience is a very powerful audience. They are the rulers. They frame policies for the people, and they consider everyone but themselves fools. और किसी को कुछ नहीं आता, हम पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं. But भारत में, in India, who is uneducated? The person who receives this English education becomes uneducated. In what way? He gets disaffiliated from himself. He gets disaffiliated from his own people. From the way, the universities are islands. Universities are islands. You get out of the university, go 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 kilometers away from the main road into the heartland of India, then the vocabulary you use, the ideas you have, all your contentions, all your conflicts, all your desires and ambitions, all your package philosophy, all these things are irrelevant when you go away. They are only relevant I was in a village in Haryana, a girls' university for 4 years, and you see, lovely place, lovely people, very simple, direct, clean-eyed people, and when you get out of the university and cross the road, and there are some tea file shops.
DPS Mahila University, Sonivat.
Yes. And when you sit down with the shopkeeper and you can't speak English because nobody understands English. And secondly, if you start talking of we have to do this, we have to sort of rebake India, rebuild India, and we have to establish multiculturalism and all that, they don't understand. Because in a village, if you say कि भैया आपके यहाँ ब्राह्मण भी हैं, हाँ जी, आपके यहाँ क्षत्रिय भी हैं, हाँ जी, मुसलमान भी हैं, हाँ जी, अच्छा जो दूसरी जातें भी हैं, हाँ जी, बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. तो वो कहेंगे जी क्या प्रॉब्लम है? अरे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है, ये तो मल्टी तो कैसे चलता है? कहते हैं जी क्या प्रॉब्लम है, हम तो रह रहे हैं. So your multiculturalism is a very good word for your seminars in the university, but in the actual lived life in India, which has not been polluted by your education and learning, this is no problem. It's a fact of life, and a very, very assimilated fact of life. So you have these two worlds. Now when you talk of theory, जब आप रिसर्च करते हो अंग्रेजी में और आप theories हम लेते हैं, theories सब लोग लेते हैं. Theory, the word theory itself has a history, as you all know. आपको कोई पोएम समझने के लिए या एंजॉय करने, there are three functions. There is the reading function, there is the critical function, है ना, and there is also the creative function. In relation to literature, there are three functions: reading function, critical function and creative function, right? Now you can read and enjoy, but then when you take literature as a discipline in a university, then the critical function comes in. Critical function. And the critical function generally destroys your enjoyment of literature. It destroys your enjoyment of literature. I'll give you one example. Long back, very long back, and I have a really long back, because I'm 81, many years ago, I remember now, don't know whether 40 years ago or 50 years ago or 53 years ago, I happened to get a scrap of paper on which there was a poem. And I read it. There was nothing, no title, no writer. It was a poem, piece of paper, and I picked up and started reading. It was Sylvia Plath's Daddy, I discovered. Sylvia Plath's Daddy. And I was so moved by that poem. One could see, it's a daughter writing about her dead father. A daughter writing about her dead father. And admiring her father. You see, हमारे यहाँ बच्चियाँ, girls have an admiration for their fathers. You see, एक relationship होता है, जैसे माँ बेटे का होता है, पिता पुत्री का होता है. So in that admiration, she spoke about her father being very handsome. और handsome का क्या मतलब है? सफेद, fair है, नीली आंखें हैं, नीली आंखें हैं. And her father died, she was 9 years old, and when her father died, she missed her so much, she also wanted to die. Because if she dies, then she will at least lie next to him. Lie next to him. बड़ी मूविंग पोएम. हमने पता लगाया, पूछा कि हम पता लगा कि ये सिल्विया प्लाथ की पोएम है और डैडी है. तो फिर हमने थोड़ा उसके ऊपर पढ़ा. तो हमने पढ़ा कि इसमें तो इलेक्ट्रा कॉम्प्लेक्स है, इसमें फलाना कॉम्प्लेक्स है, कि वो तो फादर डॉटर की जो रिलेशनशिप है वो तो उसमें एक सेक्सुअल ओरिएंटेशन है, ये इलेक्ट्रा कॉम्प्लेक्स है. और मुझे बिल्कुल बात जची नहीं. हमने कहा वो व्हेन शी सेज आई वांट टू डाई सो दैट आई कैन लाई नेक्स्ट टू हिम. यू सी, सेक्स इज अ मैटर ऑफ फ्लैश, बट व्हेन यू लाई इन द ग्रेव इट इज योर बोन्स. These are your bones that are next to each other, not flesh. So I wrote a long article, 45-page article, disagreeing with the English critical assessment of that poem. And उसमें एक वो भी है, Daddy you bastard. तो वो कहते कि अरे देखिए, इसमें वो जो लिखते हैं, अंग्रेज लोग लिखते हैं, that you see the girl is, hates him because he is a blue-eyed Aryan. And the mother was a Jew. And ये देखिए, ये सारी चीजें जो हैं, you are putting things into, and it destroys your. I disagreed with that also, because the blue eyes because she's remembering her father as a very handsome man, and when she says, "Daddy, you bastard," it's a bastard is not a real abuse in the English culture or English language. A bastard. Anybody say, the father will tell you, "Hey, you bastard, you get away." See, हमारे यहाँ कहते, my daughter has always used the word stupid for me. Papa, you are stupid. Stupid. And now she's married and she has her own children, she still calls me stupid if I speak. So that doesn't mean that she is, saying something very nasty about me. So I disagreed with that. So the critical function is a different function, and the critical function is in a way we go behind the words, वो reading between lines जिसको कहते हैं, या language वाले कहते हैं close reading, CLOZD, close reading, and what the Marxists will say socio-political reading. Socio-political reading. The problem is that we use theory, because theory as it is, you understand, there was liberal humanist criticism, all these liberal humanist criticism beginning with the Renaissance, then contested by, subverted by averted by what they call theory. Theory. There were three on liberal humanist. देखिए, literature. What is the subject matter of literature? What was the subject matter of literature? Now, if you look at the Indian civilization, and now I mean all languages, everything, Indian civilization, the subject matter of literature is the human condition. Human condition, fundamental human condition. Birth, love, death, separation, coming together and separation. You see, this is the basic theme. Human condition. Burke, in his essay on Sublime, talks about the global human condition. These are the things which happen to every human being, isn't it? You're born, you grow up, you fall in love, you pass through several emotions. The emotions are like waves in a lake or waves in an ocean. Like your anger and your hate and your disgust and your dislike and your like and all that. You pass through these. Ultimately all of them collapse into peace. Shanta. They have to. आपको ध्यान होगा कि बचपन में जब हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा खुश होकर नाचते थे तो माँ कहती थी शांत हो जा, जितना हंसेगा उतना ही रोएगा. You see, there is that every deviation from the middle, you have to come back to the middle at the end. And if you people have read R.K. Narayan is a great writer, and Walsh compared him to Tolstoy, although the scale is not the same, because he captured the human condition. There is a middle. Anytime you move away from it, you ultimately have to come back to that stable center, right? Now this is this essential human condition. ये है. अब जैसे मैंने अभी वो सुनाया कि कभी किसी को याद रखना हो, किसी को भूल जाना हो, हमेशा देर कर देता हूँ. Now this is great poetry, and it's not only great poetry, it's great philosophy. It's a great fact of human life. Great fact of human life. तो आप इसको सोशो पॉलिटिकल रीडिंग करने लगेंगे, सोशो पॉलिटिकल रीडिंग करेंगे, क्रिटिकल रीडिंग करेंगे, तो कैसे करेंगे? The basic subject matter of Indian literature is the human condition, basic human condition. Now in the West, through the Middle Ages, from the beginning, the subject matter was God, and then God in relation to man, and man in relation to God. क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, गॉड नाराज हो जाएगा, गॉड को फिर उससे हमने माफी मांगनी है, उस पे हमने मर्सी चाहिए, till Renaissance. What was Renaissance? Renaissance was all about the shift in the Western mind from God to man. And this was the ontological shift. Subject matter must shift from God to man. And epistemologically, Renaissance was a shift from the book to reason and experiment. Francis Bacon and Descartes. Bacon, empiricism, Descartes, rationalism. You see the shift, the epistemological shift from book, a authoritative book. You can't contest the book. You can't interpret it. You can't differ with it. That was the means of knowledge. From there, the shift to reason and experiment. Now, modern, that was called modern and modernity. And we use this word so much, modernity, without realizing that India has been traditionally traditional and modern. What was the great contribution of Mahatma Buddha to this civilization? Mahatma Buddha shifted the Indian mind from ritual to reason. आपको पता है Buddhist logic Buddhist logic is taught all over the world, in the universities of the world. The Indian mind, shift of Indian mind, तो तर्क हमारे यहाँ तर्क बहुत पुराना है, but India has not made reasoning, tark, as the only or the supreme epistemology, because we talk of kutark and vitark, है ना? And when somebody argues too much, we say ये बड़ा तार्किक है, तार्किक है, बड़ा बहसी आदमी है ना, बहसी आदमी है, because logic or reasoning cannot give you the correct knowledge about everything. As you know, Bhartri says that, for example, the value of a diamond, how precious or how pure the diamond is, reason cannot tell you. At the same way, the quality of wine or the quality of tea leaves, reason can't tell you. They employ professionals, professional wine tasters, professional tea tasters, who will simply take a little bit of tea liquor and decide. So reason does not help you in everything. It doesn't. So your epistemology is often determined by your ontology. The object of knowledge determines the means by which you can gain knowledge about it, isn't it? So there is the human condition, which has been the subject matter of our literature. In Western literature, the subject matter was God, but it shifted to man in Renaissance. But there is a difference. In India, it is the individual human condition, essential human condition. That is birth, growth, coming together, separation and death. You see, this is the basic global human condition as Burke described it. आप देख लीजिए सारा लिटरेचर इसी के बारे में है, इन्हीं के बारे में नुआंसेस हैं एक्सपीरियंस के और इमोशन के, जो कि इंडिविजुअल को अफेक्ट करते हैं, हिज हैप्पीनेस और हिज अनहैप्पीनेस, उसका सुख और दुख, यू सी, अफेक्टेड बाय दैट. बट इन द वेस्ट the man became a center after Renaissance. But remember Descartes. What did Descartes say? Descartes said that the goal of knowledge is to bend nature to man's purpose. So there you bend nature to man's purpose. That is, there's a shift from God to man, but man's comfortable life. How man's life can be made comfortable, not happy. It's not a question of happiness. Comfortable कैसे बनाना है? और comfortable बनाने के लिए you can even bend nature. Bend nature. इतनी nature bend की, they bent nature so much, then they had to start the departments of environmental sciences. First you destroy, and then you set up a department on how to preserve it. You see? And that has been a very common experience. Aajkal, ethics. First of all, you kill God, and you kill ethics. And then you become existentialist. And then you become alienated. And then you set up a department of ethics. To be ethics chahiye. So there has been some kind of confusion in the Western tradition. Because in fact, there is no real tradition in philosophy in the West. Believe me. Tradition is parapara, a continuous link, a chain of texts and thinkers. With the Greeks disrupted, then after 200 years, 300 years Alexandria, 200, 300 years then Rome, and then Rome destroyed in 7th century, then the Dark Ages, and then the Renaissance, a gap of 700 years, then Port Royal grammar and Port Royal study, and 17th century Europe, Bonaviste, then Saussure, and then structuralism, modernism, postmodernism, post-structuralism, so on. There is no tradition because there are breaks, ruptures. अब हमारी आदत ये है कि जो वेस्ट में है वो तो अच्छा ही होता है, तो वहाँ रप्चर होते हैं तो हमारे यहाँ भी होने चाहिए, इंडिया में भी, तो हम भी अपने यहाँ रप्चर्स की बात करते हैं. बट इंडिया हैज ए ट्रेडिशन. Only ancient civilizations can have a tradition, परंपरा. आप कोई डिसिप्लिन ले लीजिए, फिलॉसफी ले लीजिए, ग्रामर ले लीजिए, एस्ट्रोनॉमी ले लीजिए, मैथमेटिक्स ले लीजिए, you have continuous 3000 years of texts and thinkers, and each subsequent thinker is aware of what has gone earlier, gone before. There is no break, and so then from God to man, but man, not man in the basic global human condition, but man as a social political being. That has been there is the center. And therefore, the theory that developed in the West, the theory is oriented towards a socio-political context dimension of human life. This is a very basic difference. आप बताइए, गालिब पढ़ते हैं आप, है ना, क्योंकि हम तुलसीदास पढ़ते हैं, कोई हमारे लोग पढ़ते हैं, कई लोग टैगोर पढ़ते हैं. Socio-political, you see, using literature as a socio-political document, India में नहीं हुआ कभी भी. We are not used literature as a socio-political document. Well, if we want to understand society, if we want to understand the political dimension, we have the sociology tradition. There are sociological texts, 3000 years, ending in the Nibandhas, in Telugu, in Marathi, in Bangla, in major languages, right up to modern times, you see. And for philosophy, continuous tradition of philosophy. So we want to understand philosophical ideas, their tradition. We don't go to literature to study society and politics. That's why many people ask कि इंडिया में criticism क्यों नहीं होता? Criticism की काव्य शास्त्र का opposition था. But there the focus from God to man was a shift from complete subservience to God to the freedom of man to make his life comfortable as he wants, comfortable. And technology, age of enlightenment, the goal of technology, what is technology? Technology is simply an instrument of making the power of your limbs greater. आपके जो limbs हैं, उनकी ताकत को बढ़ाने के जो साधन हैं, the means which increase the strength of your senses and limbs. That is technology. There is nothing here. You can't lift under 200 kg, so you have a crane. You can't see beyond the visible sky, so you have a telescope, so you see more distance. You can't hear at certain frequencies, so you have the hearing machines. You know, you hear the cosmic sound, naad through those machines. You capture the sound which the galaxies make when they circulate and when they move. You get that sound. So technology, please don't overestimate technology. Technology is simply an enhancement of your senses and your limbs. And maybe its wisdom lies in freeing yourself not only from the enhancing means of your limbs and senses, but freeing yourself even from the slavery of senses and limbs. Senses से भी मुक्त होना, आंखें बंद करके देखना, to see things by shutting your eyes and by being with yourself. That is ultimately the goal. That is what gives happiness. Comfort, of course. People can have all means of comfort, but they shall not be happy. People are happy without means of comfort. You know, I remember many years ago, my daughter, small girl, traveling with me in my small little car, and the winter season in Delhi, under the bridges, rickshawalas piled their rickshaws, they had light up some fire, and they were laughing and talking, and she asked me, Papa, they are so poor. They work so hard throughout the day. How can they laugh? I said, this is India. Here, you can laugh even when you are not comfortable. You can be happy even when you don't have comfort. And this is a very important cultural difference. Those of us who have traveled abroad, you know that if two people are sitting on a bench in a garden, they won't talk to each other unless they are introduced, you see. And here, if you enter a train and there is only one person sitting and you sit down, after some time you take out the peanuts and say, "अब मूंगफली खाएगा आप सर? जब आप कहाँ से आए हैं, आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं, हम कौन हैं?" And the whole concourse, and by the time they part, they know everything about their grandfathers, grandchildren, about their family, and all everything. This conviviality, human relationships are the only means of happiness. Not money, not comfort, not that. So look, man-centering did not mean centering on the basic human condition. I'm again telling you, look at your literature. आप गालिब पढ़ लीजिए, आप तुलसीदास पढ़ लीजिए, रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर की पोएम्स पढ़ लीजिए, बोटमैन की, आप ओरल लिटरेचर के सॉन्ग, don't focus only on written literature. That's a very small part of Indian literature. Indian literature in 28 languages, in oral languages, oral cultures. You see, when I did the Encyclopedia of Indian Poetics, I think this child who introduced me, he mentioned the UNESCO-inspired Sahitya Academy Encyclopedia of Indian Poetics. It is these days. I submitted the manuscript in 2013, but our government is a very thoughtful government. So it is only now getting published. हम लोग सब बहुत सोच के करते हैं ना, धीरे धीरे करते हैं, ज़्यादा जल्दी नहीं करते. तो 7 साल लग गए, अब वो छप रहा है. तो उसमें हमने we went around. I made regional people went there, and coordinators, great scholars from all over India. 28 languages का उसमें data है. 28 में से मेरे ख्याल में 20 most languages में हमने oral literature पे focus किया है, because the characteristic uniqueness of Indian literature is orality. Our culture is oral. Orality has practically disappeared from Europe. It is there only in parts of East Europe, and it is in some parts of Ireland. Otherwise, orality has disappeared from that side. But here, because our culture remains oral. एक एग्जांपल आपको देते हैं, पता नहीं आपको ठीक लगे नहीं. अगर आप यहाँ को आपके बिजली का मीटर में प्रॉब्लम आ गई है और आप एक एप्लीकेशन लिख के वो दृश्य सोचेगी क्या हो रहा है. You see, suppose you have a problem with your electric meter, and so you write an application and you go to the electricity office and you go to the clerk who is dealing with it and put the application before him. He will push the application aside and say, kya baat hai? Tell me what is the problem. And in Europe, if you go to an office and start talking, they will push a paper before you and say, write it down, put it down, लिख के दीजिए, आप experience करके देख लीजिए. We are an oral people. Orality is not because we didn't know writing. In 7th century BC, Ashtadhyayi, the word lipi, script, has been used 7 times. And Ashoka's inscriptions come in 5 scripts, including Kharoshti. अफगानिस्तान में जो अशोकन इंस्क्रिप्शन है वो खरोष्टी भाषा में है और खरोष्टी स्क्रिप्ट में है. So we knew scripts, but we are oral people. Orality is an alternative form of knowledge, an alternative philosophy of knowledge. We think in the mind, we think with our eyes shut. If Aryabhatta was able to say in 4th century AD that the earth is round and sun is the center of the solar system. He did not do it with a telescope or a microscope. Of course, mathematics, because mathematics is one of the Vedangas, auxiliary sciences which developed along with the Vedic literature thousands of years ago. And we have a very long tradition of mathematics, arithmetics, and geometry, and also geometry, and calculus. Long tradition. So, with his eyes shut, you observe, and keen observation. Planets हैं, आज यहाँ है, महीने बाद ये planet इधर आ गया, shift हो गया, इधर आ गया, and from those observations and calculations, they were able to reach conclusions which are correct. West does not accept Aryabhatta as a scientist because he did not use instruments. Empiricism nahi hai, empiricism. But then there is a orality, I am saying. Our culture is oral. The knowledge is created in the mind. It is stored in the mind, and it is disseminated by word of mouth, and it is transferred from one generation to the other, from the teacher to the students. That is the culture, and even today, it is very much alive. It is very much alive in mechanics. Let us say आपको लगेगा यूनिवर्सिटी में तो नहीं है, यूनिवर्सिटियों में तो कुछ भी नहीं है, ना ही थिंकर्स हैं. हमारे थिंकर्स भी यूनिवर्सिटियों के बाहर हैं, यूनिवर्सिटीज में नहीं है. ये मैकेनिक्स जो होते हैं, जैसे कार मैकेनिक है, तो उनका उस्ताद होता है और उसके शागिर्द होते हैं, और शागिर्द जो है वो उस्ताद के साथ रह के काम सीखता है और खूब पिटाई खाता है. शुरू में उस्ताद जो है उसको कहेगा रेंच पकड़ा, ये हथौड़ा पकड़ा, ये टायर को खोल. Are you familiar with this? In the crafts of India, that Guru Shishya Parampara, teacher student relationship is very much alive. Very much alive. You see, it has disappeared from our education. To that extent, our education has suffered. You see, has suffered. We don't no more have great teachers. We don't no more have devoted students. You see, we have now people who are calculating always. You see, we have teachers who want to have the same model of car as a businessman. We have teachers whose curtains must be as good as that of any businessman. You see, now if you spend time on these things, where will you have time to shut your eyes and think? And we have courses, we have universities which pride themselves on placement and on package. हमारे यहाँ स्टूडेंट को 1 करोड़ का पैकेज मिला, 50 लाख का पैकेज मिला. Now package philosophy and knowledge, ज्ञान, वो बहुत अंतर है इनमें, बहुत अंतर है. So universities are no longer centers of knowledge, and you don't have these parampara there because we are limited to this small world and in this kind of experiment. So अगर हमारा लिटरेचर और हमारी कल्चर ओरल है, तो अब आप बताइए कि हम क्या, जब हम थ्योरी, व्हेन वी आर यूजिंग थ्योरी इन इंग्लिश डिपार्टमेंट्स, हम वेस्टर्न थ्योरी यूज करते हैं. वी यूज वेस्टर्न थ्योरी, और ये थ्योरी सारी रिटन लिटरेचर की है, और हम अपने रिटन लिटरेचर पे लगाते हैं. आर वी डूइंग जस्टिस टू इंडियन लिटरेचर देन? आर वी डूइंग जस्टिस? Do these theories, which are basically socio-political theories, how did these theories develop? The liberal humanist beginning Renaissance theories, they were supplanted. They were replaced by several factors, by the rise of technology in the service of man, search for comfort, by socio-political thinking called Marxism, which questioned the essential nature of human condition. कि कोई essential human experience या human nature या human needs भी होती हैं. So what is happiness after all, they ask. And Jeremy Bentham, he says happiness is nothing but pleasure. And pleasure you get by having, having money and the means. Pleasure. Utilitarian philosophy, which rules the Western mind. Utilitarian. ऐसे क्या मिलेगा? हमें क्या मिलेगा? What will we get out of this? Always doing things with the point of view that you will get something out of it. Something out of it. So the essential human condition, which was captured by the liberal humanist theory in the West, immediately after Renaissance, and which is needed for, because our is a human condition, literature substance is human condition, but it developed into, first it was supplanted, this liberal humanist thinking was supplanted by technology, what is for the for a comfort of man. And for Marxism, I'm saying political system, which said that there is nothing, they denied the individual, only the collective. They denied the essential, that there is something essential. हम लोग कहते हैं भाई सच भी तो कोई चीज होती है, कुछ नहीं होता सच। क्या सच है? What is truth? Like jesting Pilate, you know. What is truth? He asked and did not wait for the answer. No, he didn't wait for the answer not because he did not believe there is truth, but because it is very difficult to capture truth. Capture truth. There is a truth out there. There is a truth out there, but everybody describes it in his own way. In his own way. So the difficulty of articulating truth is the point. Why Pilate did not? Of course, I used to say in JNU classes in a joke that jesting Pilate asked what is truth and did not wait for the answer because his wife called out कि coffee तैयार है, ठंडी हो जाएगी, जल्दी आ जाओ. So he went away. He didn't wait for the answer. But of course, it's not because his wife had prepared coffee, but because he knew it is difficult to describe what is truth, what the truth is. So he left. Anyway, so they denied. That was one influence onslaught which shifted liberal humanist thinking from the Western mind. Mind you, they are coming back. They are coming back to this because all this, you see, you can think about human life in terms of human beings, basic human concept, basic human needs, both emotional and physical. And you can think of human life in terms of the social context. You can think of human life in terms of the political context, or you can think of the social life in the scientific context. So theorists, the thinkers have said that if you want to make the human life happy, then you change the society. Some said you change the political system. Some said make it scientific, reason, base it on reason, technology. But the other alternative, the Indian alternative is that you want to make a happy society, you must produce good human beings. You must attend to the individual. Your whole system from the family, from day one, from the mother to the university, must produce virtuous human beings. Human beings who are not concerned only with their own self, but with others, who see no difference between themselves and others. This is one alternative. So there are many alternatives. So Marxist onslaught, then the second onslaught on the liberal humanist thinking came from science. You see, the quantum mechanics, for example, the principle of Heisenberg and the principle of uncertainty. You see, the West was always definite, sure, certain, because it was scriptal, written, and what is written is seen, and what is seen is true. But the shift from the scientific shift, because they split the atom, and in the cyclotron, in which they broke the atom, when they looked at the atom from this side, it had one configuration. When they looked at it from the other side, it had a different configuration. So there is nothing certain. There is nothing one. There is not just one. Nothing one. It is multiple. It's multiple. So it's uncertain. Certainty was replaced by uncertainty by modern physics. That was the second onslaught. So what is certain? Nothing is certain. Human life is not certain. There is no grammar of human life. There is no grammar of language. So James Joyce wrote Finnegan's Wake. Finnegan's Wake. In a language which has no grammar. There is no system. What he called, there is no cosmos. There is a chaosmos. Cosmos is there. So there is no cosmos. Right? Then, you see, the third onslaught on this liberal humanist came from, you see, because basically liberal humanist thinking assumes there is a certain definite certainty of something. Every human being wants to be happy. There is no doubt about this. And, you know, if you read Aristotle, his Ethics, Aristotle asks very fundamental question. He says, what is the goal of life? What is the goal of life? The goal of life cannot be what everybody wants. The goal of life cannot be what everyone wants. What does everybody want? Power, status, money. Money, status, power. This everybody wants. Everybody wants power, status and money. But Aristotle says these cannot be the goal, because these are only the means. If you tell somebody asks you, what do you want? And you say, I want money. He will ask you, what for? And you say, what for? Well, I suddenly am reminded of Alexander coming back after conquering Iran, and all the philosophers going and meeting him except Diogenes, who kept sitting on the sea bank, ocean. So Alexander wondered why Diogenes hasn't come. So they say he is sitting on in the ocean bank, and you know. So Alexander went to Diogenes, you see, and asked him, why didn't you come? Everybody came to meet me. He says, why? Because he says, I conquered Iran and I have come back. He said, okay. Then what will you do now? Oh, I'll conquer India. Then I will conquer Egypt. Then I'll conquer the whole world. Then I will sit peacefully. He said, but I'm sitting right now peacefully. So what you will do after so much effort, I'm already doing it. So why should I come to see you? So it's proper that Alexander should go and see Diogenes. You see? So this, I was afraid I lose the thread. Why did I come to Alexander? What was I saying? Can somebody tell me? I lose the thread, and my students used to help me out. कि सर आप ये कह रहे थे.
Everybody wants status, money. That was the point.
So the goal of life is not the power, status, and money. These are only the means.
Thank you. Yes, they are only the means. Because if you say I want power, they will say what for? If you want status, what for? So the goal of happiness can only be one: happiness. If you say, what do you want? I want to be happy. Nobody will ask you what for. What for? Happiness is the end of life, goal of life. And Aristotle did not really go into how you can become happy, but he gave the marker of a happy, some kind of means he did say. He said, contemplative mind. A contemplative mind is a source of happiness. Contemplative mind. But you know, contemplative mind, it's a contemplative mind, either you are gifted by in your birth, or you have to acquire it, or you have to acquire that gifted mind. 300 years later, 400 years later, Longinus, when he was writing on the Sublime, Longinus, he went back to that question. How to become happy? He was a great devotee of Aristotle, Longinus. And he said that Baba Aristotle had said that happiness is the goal of life. But how to be happy? The marker of happiness is contemplative mind. Contemplative mind is the marker of happiness. And Aristotle also said that a contemplative person walks neither too fast nor too slowly. And he has a demeanor. He has a certain demeanor. But Longinus says, how to be happy? He agreed with Aristotle, happiness is the goal of life. How to be happy? Well, he said, there are three things. Your company, friendship, your sangha, companions, your good fortune. Only two things. Companions and good fortune. You can be happy if you have good companions, You are blessed by God with a good companions and good fortune. Good fortune. भाग्य अच्छा हो या आपके साथ अच्छा रहे. He says, I begin with the good company because you can choose it. You can choose. If your company is not good, then even your good fortune will be destroyed in bad company. Your good fortune also will be destroyed if you do not have good company. So, good company. Choose the right company, right people. Be with the right people if you want to be happy. That's one. And secondly, good fortune. He says, what can we do about good fortune? And his answer is wonderful. He says, we are mere mortals. Mere mortals. What can we do except pray? What can we do except pray? कि हमें हमारा भाग्य ठीक रहे. तो हिंदुस्तान में तो लोग कहते रहते हैं, बहुत दिया, जो दिया बहुत दिया, ऐसे ही रखना. हाँ, ये प्रे करना गुड फॉर्चून के लिए. It's not in your hands. So happiness is always a gift of God. You come with a capacity for happiness. There are some people who can come with the capacity for happiness if they are not too critical. Now, I have a friend, he's still around. Most of my friends have gone up in flames, but there are still some friends who are still around, one or two. You know, we were traveling from Aligarh to Delhi after a conference in your department, and we were traveling to Delhi. And as you know, in those days, you couldn't get a ticket on an express train from Aligarh to Delhi. So you took a train from some other place and longer distance, जो आगे है वहाँ से, and you entered any compartment. कोई number नहीं मिलता था. So we entered a second sleeper. It's a train coming from Calcutta. Naturally, train coming from Calcutta, and second sleeper, a lot of people there, and मूंगफली के छिलके और banana peels and you know all those things. अब कलकत्ता से लोग खाते आ रहे हैं, लिफाफे भी पड़े हैं. So my friend was very finicky and was suit वगैरह पहनना and very clean looking type, you know. And but as we entered, it was all crowded. Then on one bench in which already 3 persons were sitting, they said, आइए बैठिए. They offered us, and the other bench, the other people also offered. So we both sat down. As we sat down, my friend said, see, you know, what lovely bogie, but see, how dirty, you know, how things are thrown underneath and it's not clean at all. So I told him, cleanliness is a state of mind. You know, if you want to go into a clean compartment, next door is second AC, we'll go there, but nobody will offer you a seat. Nobody will offer you a seat. We can go there. And some people, they only see clean. कहीं भी उनको ले जाइए कि वाह कोई आपको बहुत अच्छा है. And there are some people, you take them to a 5-star hotel, वहां भी वो ऐसे करके ऐसे उंगली कहेंगे. थोड़ा अभी पूछना चाहिए, साफ करना चाहिए. So cleanliness is a state of mind. It's a state of mind. It's a spiritual condition.
Okay.
You know,
Professor Kapil Kapoor, sorry for interrupting you. This is good noon. This is Dr. Abdur Rahim Qidwai, Director UGC HRDC. So what a great joy. Let me welcome and thank you on behalf of everyone, all these 200 English teachers, and on behalf of the very competent and able course coordinator, Professor Samir Rafiq from Department of English, and Professor Asim Siddiqui Saab, Chairman, Department of English. My dear course participants, you are really very fortunate to have this, not guru, he is a Jagat Guru, Professor Kapil Kapoor Saab. You don't know, please check the internet for his very many accomplishments. Only thing I can say, look at this great scholar. He has been professor of English and Sanskrit at the same time. Have you heard of this? A person professor of Sanskrit and professor of English, and his writings, especially on ancient poetics and aesthetics, Sanskrit classics, they are masterpieces. Abroad also, he is rated very highly. Last time when I met him, he was at Baba Phul Singh Women's University in Sonipat as a visiting professor, and now it is so good to see, you know, that it is a very prestigious institute of higher studies in our country in Shimla. That's the Indian Institute of Advanced Studies. He is now associated with that. So भाई समझिए ये पारस पत्थर हैं।
अरे किदवई साहब, आप तो मेरे भाई हो कई सालों से।
आप इनको जितना वो कर ले, बस आपके भाग खुल जाएंगे। I have been personally also a beneficiary of his affection and love, and he has been so kind. My English department में some 20 years ago, our chairman was Professor K.S. Mishra, and he was dean also, Faculty of Arts at Aligarh Muslim University. So he had invited first Professor Kapil Kapoor, and since then he has been so kind and affectionate to Department of English, Aligarh Muslim University. So I take, sorry for the interruption, but
नहीं बहुत बढ़िया सर। I think I have talked too much already. बड़ा अच्छा किया आप आ गए। और किदवई जी, मैं आप सबको बताना चाहता हूँ कि किदवई जी has been more than a brother to me all these years. I'll give you one example. My daughter got married, but because my daughter got married, we married our daughter in another city, Lucknow. We are in Delhi. And किदवई जी, मैं इस वक्त लखनऊ से बोल रहा हूँ।
अच्छा, very good.
लखनऊ से। And we went to लखनऊ, तो क्योंकि हम दूसरे शहर में शादी करवा रहे थे, तो हमने किसी को इनवाइट नहीं किया था जान पहचान में। पर किदवई साहब ने, इनको पता लगा और इन्होंने एक इतना अद्भुत गिफ्ट मेरी बेटी के लिए भेजा। तो ये जो होता है ना, ये मैं अभी आपसे कह रहा था, ह्यूमन रिलेशनशिप्स। It is the human relationships which make for your happiness. Nothing else will make you happy except human relationships. At the end of it all it is. और किदवई साहब तो he has been very kind to me. ये जब डायरेक्टर थे।
Thank you very much. Please resume. Please go ahead. Thank you very much. Great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Very kind of you, sir.
Sir, I would like to add something. You were my examiner when I was doing my PhD. So since then, I owe so much to you, sir.
कौन बोल रही हैं?
I am Sami Rafiq.
Sami Rafiq. अच्छा, हाँ जी.
And Mishra ji was my supervisor at that time. और आप लोग जब मिलके बैठते थे, I mean it's just wonderful, and I owe so much to you, sir.
I am an ancient man, you know. Ancient man. राहतुल्लाह खान साहब शायद वो पूरे हो गए ना, राहतुल्लाह खान रिसेंटली, उनका भी मैं एग्जामिनर रहा था।
जी सर।
आपको याद होगा रूबी, उन्होंने एक जगह जो है हम लोगों ने साथ में खाना खाया था, रूबी में राहतुल्लाह साहब था। और सर की तरफ से मैं एक बहुत अच्छी बात बताऊं, आई शुड शेयर दिस विद पार्टिसिपेंट्स, दैट सर, you know that sir has great sense of humor and he can find humor in any situation, and you also saw that how he dealt with a very philosophical subject but in a very, say, light-hearted manner. And sir always uses one word कि भाई एक बात होती साधु भाषा में कहनी या आम भाषा में कहनी है, तो sir loves talking in, say, ordinary language that is understood by everyone. तो उसमें मेन्यू को देखकर सर का कहना था कि भाई हम हिंदुस्तानी एक और चीज भी करते हैं, we try to see the menu, we try to read the menu not from top to bottom but from right to left. That means when we see the price and when we see that okay 75 rupees, at that time actually it was 25 rupees. So 25 rupees and our eyes are fixed on what is there for 25 rupees, and it always happens to be, say, dal fry.
yes. अच्छा, राहतुल्लाह खान या somebody वो तो खाते भी नहीं थे, मीट नहीं खाते थे। One of the heads आपके जो थे, हाँ, तो मुझे याद है यार, मेरा बड़ा, anyways, मेरे ख्याल में अब मैं खत्म कर देता हूँ, बंद कर देता हूँ।
जी सर,
काफी हो गया। काफी हो गया, बुलाएंगे, फिर आएंगे, फिर बात आगे चलाएंगे। ठीक है
तो इसमें तो सर आई थिंक आई मीन पार्टिसिपेंट्स ने उनको जो है उनको पर्ल्स ऑफ विजडम जिसको कहते हैं, दे गॉट सो मेनी इनसाइट्स एंड सो मेनी बीट्स एक्चुअली.
So they're rooted in, theory was rooted in Indian experience, and I think it brought all of us together. And there are simply no words to express our gratefulness.
Thank you so much.
Today, sir.
I am very thankful to Sami Rifut ji and Asim ji and of course अब किदवई जी जो अपना ऑफिस छोड़ के आए, अब उनके बाल सारे सफेद हो गए हैं. पहले मैं शुरू में कई साल से जानता हूँ, 30 साल से उन्हें, और यंग थे, तो he was always very kind. He always says, he uses very kind words for me, and I have always loved to come to your department, and every time I come, I go back with loads of gifts, loads of gifts. और particularly इस सीजन में आता हूँ तो अमरूद जरूर लेके जाता था. मेरी गाड़ी भर देते थे ये लोग अमरूद से. मैंने उस दिन भी आसिम साहब से पूछा कि अब तो वर्चुअल अमरूद खाने पड़ेंगे. एवरीथिंग एल्स बिकम वर्चुअल. जी ठीक है, सबको मेरी बाय बाय.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very sir. Thank you much sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much sir. We are very grateful to have your questions sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
I want to say always keep smiling.
Thank you, sir, for your thanks information. Very heart touching.
Thank you sir.
एक मैं लाइन आपको प्लेटो की बोल के चला जाता हूँ. प्लेटो ने क्रेटिलस में कहा है, नथिंग इन दिस मॉर्टल लाइफ इज वर्दी ऑफ ग्रेट कंसर्न. ये आनी जानी दुनिया में कोई भी ऐसी चीज नहीं है जिसके लिए हम दुखी हों. इसलिए दुखी नहीं होना, और बेटियों को तो खासकर दुखी नहीं होना, हंसते रहना चाहिए हर वक्त. ठीक है, बाय.
Definitely we will follow sir. Thank you sir. Thank you. Have a good day sir. Yes sir. Have a good day. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Excuse me sir.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me sir.
Already has left.
Excuse me sir.
I think now he is not with us.
Okay.
So can we leave the group?
Yes, ma'am, I think so.
Okay, sir. Thank you. ये प्लेटो की क्या लाइन बोली थी सर ने? नथिंग इन दिस मॉर्टल लाइफ, कुछ और था इसमें. नथिंग इन दिस हैप्पी लाइफ, मॉर्टल लाइफ नहीं, मॉर्टल लाइफ से पहले भी तो और भी तो कुछ था. तो बस लाइन यही है, नथिंग इन दिस मॉर्टल लाइफ.
नथिंग इन दिस मॉर्टल लाइफ. आगे क्या था? आगे क्या था?
Nothing in this mortal life. Nothing in this mortal life is worth your concern.
Huh?
Nothing in this mortal life is worth your concern.
Is worth
your concern.
Worth your concern, ना?
जी.
Is worth your concern?
Concerned.
थैंक यू सर।
धन्यवाद सभी को।
दिल दे दो